Well, there's been a lot of conversation going on over the course of the last couple of weeks related to the Korean Peninsula. Certainly here in the United States, people believe that China has a major role to play in solving the situation on the peninsula. So we've seen some progress over the course of the last couple of weeks. The U.S. Special Envoy, Stephen Bosworth, has visited the region, China, Japan, and Korea. We've seen some positive remarks out of North Korea at the beginning of the year suggesting that they would be willing to get back to the bargaining table. So this is an opportunity or an area in which perhaps some kind of agreement can be made or reached between the United States and China as the two most influential figures in this relationship. I think it's going to be difficult for them to come to any kind of final conclusion. I think they can both make suggestions that we're moving in the right direction, that we've seen some positive steps, but we're really going to have to see some further agreement both from North Korea, who has made those positive comments, but to really deliver on their commitment to denuclearizing the peninsula, and also from South Korea, which is, of course, the most endangered of all the countries that deal with these issues. They haven't reacted quite as positively as North Korea has in the beginning of the year, and so we really need to see them step up and make a change in the way that they're thinking about the issues for the United States to really, I think, come fully on board in supporting going back to the talks. On the domestic front, there are a number of constituencies that President Hu is looking to appeal to. Both the leadership in China, President Hu, this could be his last official state visit to the United States before the transition of power in 2012. So he has to appeal certainly to the leadership of the Communist Party, where there are still these machinations about who is going to be take his place, take the place of Premier Wen Jiabao. So he has to, I think, both appear strong in the face of the many demands that the United States makes and will certainly make during this time, while trying to cement some kind of legacy about a positive relationship moving forward. I think he certainly doesn't want to appear as being the Chinese president who didn't leave office in those kind of circumstances. At the same time, he's got to appeal to the domestic public in China. This is an area where I think people really don't pay a heck of a lot of attention internationally, that he does have a domestic audience. We hear a little bit about these things related to currency issues and whatnot. They can't devalue because it'll affect jobs and things of that nature in China. But he certainly has to appeal to that audience. Part of that, of course, is scripted, that the messages that are being sent back by the Chinese press and otherwise will be very formal in nature, so that they'll get all of the state visits and things like that. But still, there's enough of the information that gets into the rest of the general public through the internet and other resources that it's important, I think, for him to be appealing to them as well. At the same time, he's got to be looking to China's neighbors, whether or not that be Korea and issues related to the Korean Peninsula, Japan, ASEAN. I think China's image internationally is taking a bit of a hit over the course of the last year. It's not just the U.S.-China relationship that hasn't been perceived as being in great shape. It's relations with its neighbors. There have been issues with Japan over the East China Sea. There have been concerns about the Spratly Islands in the South China Sea. And China's position, which has been seen at the very least, is much more forceful than it has been in the past. And so these audiences will also be looking to see, I think, what comes out of these meetings and what they can expect as well from the United States. Because during the course of the last year, as a result of concerns over China and efforts by the United States to really improve relations or get back on board, re-engage with those countries in the region, you've seen countries looking back to the United States for some kind of leadership or perhaps to play some role vis-a-vis the Chinese. So from a number of different perspectives, countries in the region will be looking both at the United States, and President Hu will have to be looking, I think, at how they react to this bilateral meetings.